Imagine, if you will, the Earth as a planet locked in an eternal embrace with the Sun, no longer spinning on its axis, no longer turning in harmony with the rhythm of day and night. What once was a familiar cycle of dawns and dusks, with the comforting promise of nightfall and the freshness of mornings, fades into a single, unyielding reality. This is a world where time no longer shifts in the way we've come to depend on. A world where day and night are no longer distinct concepts. Instead, the Earth becomes a planet where light and darkness are separated by an unforgiving boundary, the Terminator line. What would life look like when our most basic rhythms are stripped away and we are forced to navigate the extremes of this new world? Tidal locking is a gradual, yet inevitable process. Over eons, the Sun's gravitational pull exerts a force on Earth, slowly halting the planet's rotation. Eventually, Earth's rotation becomes synchronized with its orbit, leaving one hemisphere in permanent daylight, while the other hemisphere is swallowed by eternal night. No longer will the Earth experience the slow, comforting shift from day to night. The very definition of time, marked by the rising and setting of the sun, becomes irrelevant. We would no longer mark time by the position of the sun in the sky. Instead, we would learn to measure our existence in entirely new ways. As the Earth becomes tidally locked, the sun's rays would never again set behind the horizon for half of the planet. On the other half, an unbroken darkness would take hold. It's not just the environment that would change. This shift would alter the very nature of how we perceive the passage of time. Our biological clocks, tuned to the natural cycles of day and night, would find themselves out of sync with the world around them. The essence of daily life, as we know it, would be reshaped forever. The sunlit side, now permanently bathed in daylight, would be scorched by the unrelenting rays. With no night to cool the land, temperatures would climb to levels far higher than anything we experience today. Oceans, lakes, and rivers would gradually dry up, their precious water lost to the ever-thirsty atmosphere. The heat would be suffocating, trapping heat near the surface, pushing the planet into a state of permanent, catastrophic drought. Deserts would spread across the land like an unstoppable force, and the Earth's biosphere would begin to collapse, struggling to adapt to a world where the sun never sets. The ecosystem that once thrived in the delicate balance of day and night would be shattered. Life that depended on the ebb and flow of the sun would be pushed to the brink. Species of plants and animals that once thrived in the cool shadows of the night would not survive. Only those evolved to endure extreme conditions would remain, adapting to the heat and the scarcity of water. The Earth's ability to support a diverse ecosystem would be severely reduced. Meanwhile, the dark side would become a frozen, lifeless void. Without the sun's warmth, temperatures would plummet to deadly extremes. Oceans would freeze solid, and every drop of water would be locked in glaciers. The atmosphere itself would become thin and unbreathable, unable to sustain life. This icy expanse would stretch for millions of kilometers, an uninhabitable wasteland where survival would be impossible without advanced technology and life support systems. The dark side would be a tomb, a place where no living thing could endure for long. However, there remains a glimmer of hope in this new world, narrow though it may be. Along the Terminator line, where day meets night, a fragile band of habitability exists. This twilight zone, where temperatures are moderate enough for life to survive, would become the only place where life on Earth could possibly persist. A place where the sun's rays never fully shine through, but neither does the eternal darkness take hold. Here, life would not only endure, but evolve in ways that would challenge our understanding of biology. Plants might develop specialized pigments or even rely on bioluminescence to absorb what little sunlight there is. Creatures would adapt to this strange, half-lit world, relying on enhanced vision or different forms of communication. The rhythm of life would be forever altered as day and night blur into a constant, subdued twilight. For humanity, this new reality would present monumental challenges. With the sun permanently fixed on one side of the planet and the cold darkness swallowing the other, people would be forced to live in this narrow band of habitability. Cities would be constructed in this twilight zone, carefully designed to handle the harsh extremes just beyond their borders. We would rely heavily on technology, advanced climate control systems, power generation that harnesses the last vestiges of solar energy, and artificial habitats that mimic the ecosystems once found on the planet. Life would be regulated by technology in ways we cannot even fathom today. Entire industries would emerge focused solely on survival. Energy generation, food production, water purification, and environmental regulation. Every aspect of life would be dominated by the need to maintain a delicate balance between life and death. Humanity would have to innovate relentlessly just to stay alive. Psychologically, the effects on humanity would be profound. The permanent absence of a natural cycle would have lasting impacts on mental health. People would experience a form of disorientation, a deep sense of loss for the rhythms that once governed their lives. The feeling of living in time would be alien. No more waking up to the sunrise or unwinding in the glow of the sunset. The absence of day and night would create existential questions. How would we measure time? How would we experience our days without the natural division between light and dark? Human culture itself would have to adapt. Festivals that once marked the passing of seasons, the rise and fall of the sun, would lose their meaning. Our understanding of work and rest, of sleep and activity, would be reshaped. The psychological impact of living in constant twilight might create new rituals, new forms of social cohesion, as people search for meaning in a world that no longer turns with the predictable passage of time. As humanity adapts to its new, fixed reality, we may begin to ask deeper, more philosophical questions. What is our place in a universe that no longer follows the rhythms of time as we once understood it? Can we truly thrive in a world where every day is a challenge, where survival itself becomes the primary focus of existence? Will future generations view this as a new beginning, a testament to human resilience, or as a tragic end to the planet we once called home? The future of life on Earth, in this tidally locked state, would depend not just on our survival, but on our ability to evolve. Technology, culture, and society would shape new forms of life, perhaps even creating entirely new ways of living. In the end, humanity's spirit of adaptation, ingenuity, and determination would define whether we could call this tidally locked world home. What if Earth were tidally locked to the sun? It would be a world unlike anything we've known. A world of extremes, where the line between life and death is drawn by technology and adaptation. A world where the sun never sets, and where the human spirit is tested like never before. Could we survive? Could we adapt? And if we do, would we still recognize the planet we once called home?